What's going on, traders, and welcome back to another YouTube video. My name's Antonio. Most of you might know me on Instagram as USD Analysis, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you a full market breakdown of the US dollar against the Japanese yen. And as always, before we jump into the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more content. And if you want to join my VIP trading group where I go live over 3 times a week and send in daily trade ideas, just click the link in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's get straight into it. Right guys, so here we are on USDJPY. We're going to be breaking down this chart from the weekly time frame all the way down to the 15-minute time frame. And I'm also going to be using the DXY and the Japanese yen index as well to kind of give us that final confluence to see where price is heading in the long term. But anyway, looking at USDJPY on the weekly time frame, the first thing we kind of notice is that price is very, very bullish on this time frame, you know, ever since 2021. And for those of you that were following me all the way back from then, you know, I was buying USDJPY all throughout 2022 towards the end, and then I kind of parted ways with USDJPY at the end of 2022 coming into 2023, and then began trading it once again towards the end of 2023 again, and then stopped trading it because, in my opinion, I prefer to be trading with the higher time frames. So if USDJPY is, you know, bullish on the higher time frames, then the probability is in my favor to be looking for those buy positions, right? So I want to be looking for those buy setups. But anyway, weekly time frame, we can clearly see that price is trading within this bullish market structure, forming higher highs and higher lows, strong bullish candles. The main thing to kind of look at right now is any key levels that we can see on this time frame to see if price is coming towards any key levels, rejecting any key levels, to really look at some kind of higher time frame targets. And the first thing that kind of springs to mind is, you know, we have got this strong level of resistance up here, which we are approaching. So when I'm looking at, if I'm taking a buy position, right, I'm looking at these key levels. I'm using it as a way to think, if I was a buyer in the market, where would my targets be? And if I was a seller, where would I be wanting to get in? And obviously, if you was a buyer within this market, this would be your target. And if you was a seller, that is where you would be waiting to get in for a sell position. And, you know, looking at this time frame, just going back, we can see how we're bullish. And although we are rejecting this strong level of resistance, we have failed to break through key levels. As you can see, this level here, where price was using it as resistance and here as support. When price did reject this level of resistance, we did not actually break structure and form a new lower low within the market. All this done was just form a higher low within the market and continue with that bullish momentum to the upside. So that's the main thing I look at on this higher time frame, is where is price looking to go? What levels are, you know, buyers looking to, you know, achieve and take their profits at? So for me, looking at this straight away, I'm kind of screaming, you know, I want to be a buyer in this market, targeting this high point up here, where you know, where sell orders are. Okay, so anyway, we're going to drop down to the daily time frame now and just kind of get a more, you know, in-depth view of what's previously been going on. This is where we start to see some more kind of structure. We can see the structure as price rejected this previous level of resistance, where we was in bearish market structure. And during that time frame, you know, if you was a seller and you were looking for sell positions, you know, it probably would have been in your favor to be doing so. But recently, you know, since the start of the year, actually, so since the 1st and 2nd of Jan, price turned bullish, and we are now back in very, very nice bullish market structure. And once again, we can see our overall targets of this level of resistance up here, which we are going to be looking to target long term. Okay, so we have that in the back of our mind. Probability is in our favor to be looking for those buy positions up until this level, but obviously we need to know how to get in, where to get in, and stuff like that. Okay, this is the easy part. The easy part is identifying the overall trend, but we need to identify how to get in on the lower time frames, because at the end of the day, we're not investors, we're traders. Okay, so I'm going to drop down again to the 4-hour time frame because not really much going on there. 4-hour time frame, this is where we're going to get a more, you know, in-depth view of the actual structure that was taking place on USDJPY. And what I mean by that is we can clearly see on this part of the screen where price was trading nicely, you know, within this bearish market structure, forming lower lows and lower highs. Clearly price was downtrending, right? You don't really have to draw on that trend line to see that. but it's nice to visually represent it sometimes, okay? And then price broke out of this, broke out of this lower high, formed a higher high, and then ever since we've just been forming our higher highs and higher lows. What's interesting is, when price is trading to the upside, we like to form a lot of kind of retail traps. And what I mean by that is, if I highlight this level here, where price forms these almost, fake higher low points. And then what price tends to do is it just creates a false level of support. Price pushes to the downside, grabs liquidity, stops people out, grabs more buy orders, and then we get that push to the upside. Okay, and then we continue trading to the upside, forming those higher highs followed by higher lows. And when things are going to start to get tricky is now, okay, as we are beginning to approach this level of resistance. And when we drop down to the lower time frames, we'll be able to see that. So the 1 hour time frame, we really want to get a kind of in-depth view of what is going on right now within this market here, okay? Everything that you can see on my screen right now, this is what we're trying to get an in-depth view of. Now, when you're trading on, any currency pair, you don't want to be marrying a bias. And what I mean by that is you want to be viewing the market from both a buyer's and a seller's perspective, okay? You want to be seeing all the confluences as if you was a buyer, all the confluences as if you was a seller, and that's how you get your edge, right? If more buyers have more confluences than sellers, then obviously you'll be looking to buy, and then vice versa. If more sellers have more confluences than buyers, then you want to be looking for that sell position, okay? But when you kind of approach the market, never be so sure that price is bullish or bearish. Just look at the market as a buyer's perspective, as if you want to be buying the market, and then look at the market from a seller's perspective, as if you was to sell the market, and kind of, get a balance between the two. But anyway, let's take a look at what price is doing right now. So price has clearly been uptrending, right? Okay, very, very clearly. We've been forming these higher highs followed by higher lows, just continuously kind of breaking those higher points to the upside, looking for those buy positions, so on and so forth. Until recently, right, this higher low point has been broken. Okay, this movement to the downside has technically broken market structure. So from a seller's perspective, like I was mentioning, that's what sellers are thinking. People who are selling the market are seeing that as a break in market structure, and that is a confluence for them to be looking for a sell position. What else can we see that could potentially be, looking for someone who is looking to sell the market? Well, if I drop down to, let's say, the 30 minutes even further to kind of get a more in-depth view, we can see that we're potentially forming a tilted head and shoulders pattern. Okay, if I just draw this in like that and connect the neckline, we can see that price might be forming this inverse head and shoulders pattern, which is obviously not inverse, a normal head and shoulders pattern, a tilted head and shoulders pattern, which is a bearish reversal pattern within the market. So from a seller's perspective, price has broken market structure to the downside, and it looks like we are forming this tilted head and shoulders pattern. With that being said as well, we have had this strong impulsive move to the upside, to the downside. So that's a strong move to the downside, a strong rejection from sellers, which we haven't seen for a while. So a strong rejection there. And also price is kind of correcting, sideways for that potential continuation going down. Okay. So that is what a seller is kind of looking at from a seller's perspective. Now what we want to be doing is really looking at it from a buyer's perspective. Okay. We want to be looking, okay, if I was a buyer, what would I be seeing? So the first thing, obviously, we are still, in this kind of uptrend. So I can draw on a trend line just to kind of identify that price is still technically bullish. Now, you might also think from a buyer's perspective that this move that we had to the downside, rather than being a break of market structure, it could just be a stop hunt, a liquidity grab to the downside, stopping these people out, grabbing orders and stuff like that. So you could just say that, price is still bullish. We just wanted to come down, grab more orders before we went to the upside. And if I draw on a Fibonacci retracement as well from swing low, drag that to swing high, we can also see that we have just maybe potentially rejected the 61.8. And for me, personally, I'm looking at this from a buyer's perspective and thinking there's more confluences for that buy position, because what I've done is I've now weighed up the options. And if we look at the confluences for a buy position, You know, we are very, very bullish on the higher time frames. We are constantly breaking market structure on the higher time frames. We know where price is kind of aiming for on the higher time frames. So we know buyers have targets to drive price higher. And we know that there's sell orders at that resistance level as well. Okay. And also combined with this analysis as well. Yes. Okay. There is a potential head and shoulders pattern there. But even if you was kind of looking at that head and shoulders pattern from a seller's perspective, let me draw that on again. If you was kind of looking for this head and shoulders pattern here, I would be personally waiting for a break of market structure first before I look to take a sell position. Okay, I would wait for that extra confirmation, then I would be looking for a sell. That makes it a lot stronger. And for me, I would potentially even be looking for a sell position if that was to happen. Okay, so I'm weighing up both options, what I'd be looking to do if certain scenarios were to play out. So that's all trading is about, right? If this happens, I'll do this. If this happens, I'll do this. It's not saying I'm definitely going to do this every single time, because we need to adapt and we need to be able to change. Anyway, because we know that, I'm personally going to be kind of more looking for buy positions. Now, another thing I will use as a confluence to kind of back that is using the DXY and also the Japanese yen index as well, because at the end of the day, right, we're trading the US dollar against the Japanese yen. We are trading if the US dollar is stronger than the Japanese yen, then this currency pair should increase. And alternatively, if the Japanese yen is weaker than the US dollar, then it will increase as well. So we want to be looking at the US dollar and the Japanese yen separately as well, which is why I'm going to bring up the DXY. Right guys, so here we are on the US dollar index. This kind of gives us an overview of the dollar. So if we are looking to trade, anything with USD in it, USDJPY, USD CAD, and anything else with the USD in it really, this kind of gives a good indication to act as a confluence for those currency pairs as well. Because, if the US dollar index is bullish, it acts as a confluence for USDJPY if we're looking to buy it. So we're just going to do a really quick breakdown of the US dollar index and see what's going on. So first thing I can kind of notice is price was trading to the downside. Okay, price was definitely in bearish market structure, forming lower lows followed by lower highs. Okay, and then price made that switch when we used this level of support as a resistance here, and then rather than forming a new lower low and breaking to the downside here, we actually done the opposite. Price broke through this level of resistance. That was our confirmation there that there was a switch in kind of market sentiment on the dollar, and then price continued moving to the upside using this level again as support, breaking through and using it as a support continuously. Now, so price is clearly in bullish market structure, right? But the same thing has happened on this as I mentioned on the USDJPY, how we break through levels of resistance, but sometimes we actually use it as a retail trap. Okay, that's what price likes to do, which is exactly what happened here, where price formed this false level of support and then price broke below it, just potentially grabbing liquidity. Let's see what fib level that potentially was as well. If I put this on, drag that across, we use it around the 61.8 as well, just grabbing some orders at that level, and then continuing with that bullish market structure. Let's also take a look what's happening on these lower time frames, such as the 1 hour and the 30 minutes. Very interesting stuff. So price on this time frame here is also clearly kind of in bearish market structure right now. Okay, we're in bearish market structure. We're forming lower lows followed by lower highs. So we can see how price is trading within this kind of, descending channel as such. I don't really want to draw this on because I know it's not going to be clean. Yeah, but I'll do it anyway. Why not? Kind of visually represent, right, that price is trading to the downside. However, after we had this liquidity sweep to the downside, buyers stepped in immediately. Okay, so if I highlight this, that is a nice, strong, bullish, impulsive move. However, we have not yet broken market structure. Okay, this is our most recent point where we need to see that broken in order for us to say that price is back in bullish market structure. So another thing I can kind of notice on this time frame, which you guys know I love to use, is the inverse head and shoulders pattern. So I can see that price has formed this inverse head and shoulders pattern, with this side over here being the left shoulder. Let me highlight that. down here being the head, and this being the right shoulder. And I'm really liking the way we've done it as well. We've had a strong impulse move followed by this bearish correction, okay? And that's what we're looking for when we're looking for these buy positions, is we want to see that buyers are active and that sellers are inactive, essentially. And that's what a correction tells us. So let's also see what Fibonacci level that came down to, because that will be interesting. If I go to here, most likely the 50%. Okay, so we've had a nice 50% rejection, which lines up with the left shoulder as well. So I am anticipating that the US dollar index is going to be bullish, combined with the higher time frame on this as well. It is back in bullish market structure. But looking at this dollar index, we need more confirmation, right? Because yes, we formed this inverse head and shoulders, but we haven't broken out of market structure. So for me, I need to see that price is broken above this, and that will be my confirmation to then be looking for price to correct. And then I will be looking for price to continue like so. So for me, and that would kind of be like a target if I was looking to trade this. So again, for me, for the US dollar index, I am buy bias. I am, anticipating that buyers are in control, and there are more buyers within the market, which backs my USDJPY analysis. However, I need to see more from this in order to then trade the USDJPY. So I will need to see a breakout of that. Now let's go to the Japanese yen and see what's going on there. So now we're on the Japanese yen index, and we're going to take a look at this from a higher time frame perspective. Let's look at the daily time frame. It's a little bit more messy, this chart, but let's take a look. So the first thing that kind of springs to mind when I look at this, obviously, first of all, is mess. But we're basically, with this one, we're just going to be looking at key levels really, really quickly. And the first thing that springs to mind, since January, okay, so since January, start of this year, we have been very, very bearish. And remember when I spoke about USDJPY, remember at the start of the year, January, is when USDJPY turned bullish, okay, and that's due to the Japanese yen weakening. The same with potentially the dollar index as well. So with that being said, this backs my analysis on USDJPY because of how bearish this is. And another thing that's very, very interesting on the Japanese yen is look at these levels of support which we have on USDJPY, okay? Look at this level of support where if I was a seller, I would be targeting this level of support. If I was a buyer, I would be trying to buy when price came into this. I wouldn't want to be buying until price came down into this level of support. And what does that kind of back? If we go back to USDJPY, USDJPY is looking like it's approaching this level of resistance, like how this one is approaching this level of support. Because the Japanese yen currency index, if this is weak, it means that this is strong, because the dollar is obviously the base currency of this one, okay, and the Japanese yen is the quote. So we're looking for weak yen to drive this up and strong dollar to drive this up. So that is why for USDJPY, I will be looking for buy positions. How I will be doing so now, that's the key question. I'm just going to be looking for price to be back within bullish market structure, potentially breaking through this level of resistance and then correcting and using it as a level of support. And oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Do that again, breaking through, correcting, and then continuing and having this as my overall target where I'll be looking to close my trade, okay? But really simple stuff, guys. Remember, you want to be using the DXY and the Japanese yen currency index to kind of add a complement to your analysis. Make sure you don't marry a bias. So when you're looking at the charts, view it from both a buyer's perspective and a seller's perspective. So yeah, guys, I hope that was helpful, and we will now go straight into the outro. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to leave a like and a comment and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And remember, if you want to join my VIP trading group, just click the link in the description and you'll be able to join straight away. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video.